everybody, this is Moo.
And this is Fuji.
We just watched Fantasia 2000, and most definitely didn't almost start Dinosaur first.
I might have a fever, so I don't know how this is gonna go.
But your only prescription, you need more cowbell, dude.
So Fantasia 2000.
Yes. It's fine.
It's good.
Yeah.
I would say it's good.
Yeah, it's good. The biggest detriment, I said this in like an earlier recording, but its biggest detriment is easily little weird comedic interludes that happen in between the songs.
Which I think, and this is true for some of my other criticisms of this one, is that it's not really, to me, it's not that it's bad. It's just that it's got some pretty late 90s, early 2000s stank all over it.
Yeah. This came out in 1999, and it shows.
And it's like, we're right on the cusp of, when did Shrek come out?
It was probably either 99 or 2000.
Yeah, so we're right, like, around that time period. And I remember, like, some of the things that you've been irritated about is, like, some of the comedy is a little cringy, and some of it's pretty stupid, and there's some things like, oh, Salvador Dali, the melting clocks guy. And the thing is, though, that's what was in style. That's what people liked.
Yeah.
That is what people paid a lot of money to go to the theater to see.
Not like that helped this goddamn movie anyway.
And yet, I think without it, I don't know, that would have necessarily helped. Like, it was a lot of... And we were talking about this, that it's like, what place does Fantasia have in the theater?
Yeah.
And because even the original Fantasia wasn't like the huge, overwhelming success that Walt Disney wanted it to be.
Right.
And I kind of find myself thinking that, like, of course I enjoy both Fantasias.
Yeah, same.
But maybe that's because, like, I have a music background, I have an animation background, and I appreciate them for maybe on a meta level, like, the works that they are. And yet, if you're going to the theater just, for your entertainment, is this something that most people would, willingly be like, yeah, I want to go spend an hour and a half and watch all these artsy-fartsy shorts?
Yeah, exactly. So I looked up to see what money it made, and it took like $80 million to make, and it made $90 million back at the box office, which isn't great. It's not really breaking even.
No.
I mean, it's not a bomb, but I decided to pull it up because I wanted to go through like the little shorts so we could talk about them briefly, what we think about them. So the first one, which was at the beginning, was Symphony No. 5 by Beethoven, and it was the one with all the butterflies. It was cute. It was explosive.
Like, it's one of those ones that I think must have been a lot of fun to make.
Yeah.
Like, I can see animators, like, sitting down and, like, coming up with these ideas. And, being able to work abstractly in a field, commercial animation is not a field where you get a lot of abstract, expressionistic work. So I think that must have been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I don't have too much to say about this one because it's pretty simple. So the next one was Pines of Rome by, I cannot pronounce that.
Autorino Respighi.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the one with the humpback whales, and I like that one a lot. It's one of my favorites.
I like that one. I feel like that's an animation style that I'd love to see more of. It's been quite a long time since this came out, and I'm surprised that more hasn't been done with that sort of stylized, but very textural, I think, sort of CG.
Yeah.
And the other thing to remember is that in 1999-2000 was about the time when, if you were doing CG, people wanted hyperrealism.
Yeah.
There's still, when you're working in CG, there's not a lot of room for stylism, and people are like, oh, how realistic can you make it? Can you get this lighting to reflect off of everything? Can you get, occlusion and all this fancy things? And it's like, there's not a lot of room for this, and I appreciate it a lot, and I'm glad that, even in the early 2000s that they were doing this, and I think that it holds up really well over time.
Yes.
And this is something that we'll see repeatedly throughout this thing, but I can't remember real clearly what people were looking at, but, even Shrek, like, you look at Shrek and people were like, oh, you can see, like, all the texture in his vest, and you can see, like, all of the hair on Fiona, and it's like, that's what people wanted. Like, that's what was impressive. And so this, with the whales, it's really expressive. It's really well textured, but of course it's not hyper realistic. And I wonder if that's just not what people were looking for at the time.
I guess not. I mean, I personally really like the short. It's so cute, and it's if anyone hasn't seen it, one, you should, and two, it's in the style of like Paperman, which is the little short that at the beginning of what movie was that? Big Hero 6?
No, that was
It was something different.
Tangled.
Tangled. It was Tangled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It had to have been Tangled, and they were going to use that art style for Moana, but they couldn't really get it to work with like water. I think was the problem, and so I would like to see them go back to that art style one day. I think they will eventually, but it sounds like the technology's not all the way for a full feature yet, which would be great to see. So I like that one. Then we have Rhapsody in Blue, which was the one with they're in the 30s, 20s New York,
In the
and
style of Hirschfeld's.
yeah, yeah,
Which
I like that one.
Disney loves Hirschfeld because
They sure do.
I recently was reading The Art of Aladdin, which is a real interesting book because it actually came out before the movie did, so they hadn't yet released that the genie was being voiced by Robin Williams. But they go through how a lot of the style of animation was all inspired by Al Hirschfeld's cartoons. And once you kind of see it, especially like in the genie, the way that they treat Lion and stuff, you can kind of see how they took those caricatures and applied it to this moving picture.
Yeah, yeah. I like this is a cute short. I like it. And apparently, the 4 individuals in that short, their names are Duke, Joe, Rachel, and John. I had no idea that they had names. That's pretty awesome. The next one was the Tin Soldier one, which was Piano Concerto Number 2, Allegro, Opus 102.
By Shostakovich.
Yeah, that guy. Okay, but it was the Tin Soldier, but with a happy ending. And an evil Jack in the Box.
As it goes for adaptations of Hans Christian Andersen.
I said this when we were watching it, but like, I'm so happy Hans Christian Andersen was rejected so many times, or else we wouldn't get such nice fairy tales. I wonder who rejected him for him to write Tin Soldier. Like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna write a story about 2 people in love, and then they die romantically together, and you're gonna be jealous. Cries while writing his stories that will live on forever. So thanks, Hans Christian Andersen. I'm glad you were unlucky in love, man. I'm sure he wasn't, though. The Little Mermaid one is still my favorite because of the dude rejected him because after living in his house for, I don't know, too long. So long, and then he was so upset that he wouldn't return his affections, he wrote Little Mermaid. And now there's a little statue in Denmark just for Little Mermaid. Oh, okay. I'm gonna stop here myself. Do you have anything to say about that one?
Nope. I mean, that's another one where they use that Paperman treatment to the animation.
Yeah.
And I think it works really, really well in that one.
Mm-hmm. Also, the ballerina is also made out of tin, I'm gonna assume, and not made out of paper. So, then the next one was Carnival of the Animals. That was the one with the yo-yo flamingo, which was cute. It was cute, but I really don't think that one fit in Fantasia. It was more like a short that you would put at the beginning of a movie.
And yet, the original Fantasia did some weird crap like that too, so it kind of fits.
True. It did remind me a little bit more of the package film ones.
It does, yeah, it does.
It reminds me of that a lot. So yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. It's a cute, but I feel like that flamingo's name is Louis. Or like Lewis or something.
I'm not sure where she gets that from.
No, it's just in my mind. I was just like, he looks like that's his name. It's probably not his name if he has one, but just thought that came in my head. Do you have anything else to say about that one?
Nope,
okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, the next one was Sorcerer's Apprentice, which basically was Sorcerer's Apprentice from the previous one.
Yep, it's a repeat of the original.
Yeah.
Which I think is because when they were doing this one, they were talking about, what if Fantasia wasn't a series of movies, but if it was the same thing but just got updated, every so often. So I think, they'd be keeping certain pieces from previous ones and then introducing new pieces. So why this one instead of Night on Bald Mountain? I don't know.
Right? I don't understand why they didn't go with Night on Bald Mountain.
Probably because everyone knows Mickey in the Hat, so.
I think it's because Sorcerer's Apprentice is the most remembered one in the public consciousness out of all of them. I mean, I think Night on Bald Mountain is a close second, though, because I cannot pronounce his name ever. The big devil guy. Whatever, that guy, he's in a lot. Yeah, he's pretty iconic, like, even if you don't see him in the parks that much, because, well, it's actually Satan, so you don't want to like put that around your park too often. Maleficent usually does the job for him, but you still see him around, and he's pretty recognizable. They're like, oh yeah, that big devil thing. That's in the Disney stuff. In fact, when they were considering the ideas for making a a themed land around the Disney villains, that was going to be the centerpiece, the bald mountain. I don't know if they would have called it that, but the mountain was going to be the centerpiece and have something along that theme it around him. So, but yeah, I can see why they chose Sorcerer's Apprentice. So there's not too much I can add to that we said in our previous recording with Fantasia. So we'll go on to the next one. So the next one was Pomp and Circumstance, which is Donald Duck basically helps Noah get the animals on the ark with Daisy. It's cute.
It's a cute one. I have bad feelings about Pomp and Circumstance because I was in too many what's the word? Graduation bands. And I went to a big school.
Oh no!
So we had a lot of people walking.
You have to play that for like ever.
Yeah, I've had enough of that for the rest of my life. But the animation was good. It was very Lion King-ish.
Yeah, it was very Lion King. Well, granted, they have been trying to Lion King since Lion King came out, let's face it.
That is true.
All right, so our next one, or the last one, was the Firebird Suite, the 1919 version, and it was with the nature spirit and the fire. Basically, it's Moana, but without the ocean.
It's kind of Goddess of Spring, but no Hades.
Yeah, and she has, and Fuji pointed this out to me, but she has Merida's face. It's weird.
Well, that's what I thought of when I saw Merida. I was like,
she looks like
that face. Yeah.
Well, I guess Merida looks like her, but yeah, you're right. It does look like her. It's really bizarre to see.
And this one is probably my favorite, like, out of this compilation. It's actually the first one that I saw because I watched this for a CGI animation course, and so the Firebird Suite sequence was the actually first thing from Fantasia 2000 that I ever saw. And watching it again, like, everything is just so well done. Like, it's just really technically well rendered. I was saying the only thing that gets me is that particularly the sprite has like a really airbrushy feel to her, and talking about some of that early 2000s stank.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that Disney gets really kind of pinned down for having this particular house style, like having like no outlines or like very, color matchy outlines and then really airbrushy. And there's that like reality TV show that was all cartoon characters, and there was like a Disney princess character who had that sort of animation style. And
was it Drawn Together?
Drawn Together, that's the one. And yet, I really don't see a whole lot of that in like Disney feature films. I think there's a lot of, especially up till now, like mostly it's been pretty flat. I think Lion King, it gets a little airbrushy.
Yeah.
Pocahontas was a little airbrushy, but I think it was flattered in general.
Yeah.
But I do think it's just really funny that, like, you look at, like, the VHS covers and stuff, and they're all this, like, really soft, like, fuzzy outlined.
Yeah.
Or not outlined, but, like the shading and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is super stanky in that regard. And yet, I don't think Disney really did it that much. The movie that I associate that style the most with is Anastasia.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, it's funny, Don Bluth, like, he was an animator for Disney for a long time, so before he moved on to his shit, because he's like, I want to make my own stuff, fuck off, and went off and did his own thing, and became pretty successful in the end, even if his ending handful of movies didn't go that great, but, yeah, I like this one. It's no Night on Bald Mountain. I don't think it has the same, like, oomph as to the
gravitas.
Ending. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have the same, like, kind of ending, but it's still good. It's still good. I think they were trying kind of like in the vein of Night on Bald Mountain, though, because with the big old Firebird and the bombastic music and the quieter kind of ending. Well, it didn't stay quiet, but it like came back like a bit more jubilant than Ave Maria would be. But yeah, it's good. I thought it was a good short, and I thought it was a pretty decent ending. I still think the original's better overall.
Yeah.
Like in how it's presented and all the shorts come together a lot nicer. But I don't think this is a bad addition to it. And so a lot of the shorts that didn't make Fantasia 2000 just kind of ended up on DVDs, like the Little Match Girl one. That was on the Little Mermaid DVD, but you could find it pretty easily. And that one I do recommend.
Well, there's a shorts collection too. There's a Walt Disney shorts collection where you'll find a lot of those.
Yes, and you'll find it in collections, or you'll find it on like DVDs, like the Little Mermaid one I mentioned. By the way, if you watch the Little Match Girl one, I'm gonna tell you it's not a happy short. If you know how that.
Surprise!
Whoa! don't watch that expecting it to be a happy one.
Surprise! The Little Match Girl doesn't have a happy ending.
Nope, sure doesn't. They don't do the Tin Soldier route. They go the original ending. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on Fantasia 2000? I don't have too much else to say about it.
I am mostly curious to know if they will bring this back, because
Maybe one day.
this format actually would be really good for, I think, not necessarily theatrical release, but like in this day and age when we get a lot of our media, not even through TV, but like, you know, over streaming or over the internet or
Yeah.
things like that. I feel like this has a place.
Yeah.
Um,
I mentioned this when we were watching it, but like I think it would make a really good TV special. Like I really do. Like you can put it on TV or stream it.
yeah.
I think that's what they do with like the shorts films that you can find on like Netflix, because that's where we watch this on. We watch this on Netflix and wherever streaming may be. And Disney has enough networks in order to do it, so
Yeah,
I think I can see it making it come back that way.
and especially now that I'm thinking more about it, like, because it's so easy, I think, to become a creator now, that they could source talent, you know, from really anywhere and be like,
yeah.
invite them to do another Fantasia.
Holy, yeah, they really could. Oh my goodness,
And
yeah.
I think that's really something that I like these movies. I'd love to see another one.
Maybe one day we'll have to see.
Mhm.
Well, I don't honestly. Only time will tell.
Mhm.
We can't really know. The CEO of Disney right now, Bob Iger, I think is how you pronounce his name. His contract technically ends next year, but I heard it was extended to 2019. So we have a little while before we see any changing of the guard. But since John Lasseter is going to probably be the head of animation until the day he dies, knock on wood. We'll just have to wait and see. I think he'd be open to that idea.
Oh,
Though.
I think that you see a lot of Fantasia's influence on the way that Pixar works.
For sure. So maybe one day I would love to see that. I would totally be on board if they decide, hey, let's bring us back. So why don't we move on to our next movie? We're gonna go ahead and watch Dinosaur, the movie that neither of us can remember.
I'm sure I did not see this movie.
I swear I did see this because I remember like little scenes in my head, but that could have been from commercials.
And see, this is funny because, like, man, dinosaur movies are either, oh man, I am not feeling well. Dinosaur movies either are like so good, and
Take a chill,
by
man.
that I mean Jurassic Park was really good.
Jurassic Park's a good movie. I like Land
Jurassic
Before
Park.
Time.
Land Before Time was good, and then you have some truly junk dinosaur movies,
It's like Land Before Time 2 and all of its sequels.
and like TV shows. There have been so many dinosaur TV shows.
It's because kids love dinosaurs.
And like Dinotopia, and it's like,
But listen.
this is not one of those.
No, listen. Disney can do this without Pixar, okay? They don't need them. Come back, Pixar. Anyway, do you have any other parting thoughts before we move on to Dinosaur?
I'm gonna go get some water.
Good idea. We'll see you guys then.